Good afternoon, guys. It is Eddie, Life by EJ. Happy Thursday. I am currently at a car dealership, and no, I'm not announcing that I'm buying a new truck or car. Really truck, because I want a truck. The ones that I want are very high price tags, like in the $70,000, $80,000 range, the trucks that I want. I don't have $70,000 or $80,000 truck money right now, but we work and we trying to accomplish goals here. So what we are going to do today, though, since we're ending June here pretty quickly and we're coming to a conclusion of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I am dedicating this video for the men out there because this has become a topic as far as relationships are concerned, and this is going back on my pillar series. And this pillar that I'm talking about today is the mental and emotional availability, openness, and vulnerability. That so many times as men, we're required to provide that safe haven for her to be mentally and emotionally safe and give her that safe space to deal with that. But far too often as men, we are not afforded this. And when we try to push for it, it often erodes the relationship, or she just don't want anything to do with it because it's been programmed that it's weakness, it's, something we're just not allowed to have. And unfortunately, a lot of that is programming from the Matrix, and even, the feminazis out there, I'm going to include them because, as we all well know, feminazis they hate all men and think all men are malevolent and are the bane of existence in society. So, because of all that, it has been pretty much a standard or a commonplace that men aren't allowed to have emotional and mental openness and vulnerability, especially in the context of a relationship. And it's really shameful, and we as men, we need to start banding together, and we need to start banding together as brothers about this, and resist the Matrix, resist the feminazi movement, and demand this from our partners. And biblically speaking, there was a story in the Bible, and if you know what I'm talking about, please throw it in the comments section, that Jesus himself wept. It's actually one of the shortest verses in the Bible. Jesus wept. And if Jesus himself showed emotion, which he did, then who's to say that men aren't allowed to have their own emotions and have their space and their opportunity to have a safe haven for theirs, especially considering the fact that it is an automatic expectation that we're going to provide that for the women in our lives. So that double standard really needs to end. And what does that look like? So the biggest thing is just being able to just open up, being able to express to our partners, to our persons, what's on our mind, what's on our heart. Because far too often when we do, it erodes the relationship, it completely collapses everything, and we end up just having to shut up. And it's to the point where it's like, why are we doing this? Because if you're just gonna lose love for me, why would I even consider expressing myself in this arena? And this is far too often the case than it is not. And just as we're expected to provide it, the expectation is that they should our partners, our persons, our ladies in our life should. Now, if you are one of those women that does this already for their man, please comment. Let me know you're out there, because that's pretty remarkable that you do that. And I have witnessed it, so I know it's possible, because as I posted earlier in an earlier video, while I was going to a wedding, I was actually going to a wedding of a good friend of mine I used to work with, and he is completely wide open with his lady, and she still loves him no matter what. And so this is definitely rooted in unconditional love, because there can be some horrifying moments. And as me and my buddy, we both, we worked in the same environment. We both worked he still works in law enforcement. I used to. And that's huge for us, especially us men that are in the military, that are law enforcement first responders. Like, we see an awful lot. So, more so, it is huge for us if our persons can be that safe space. Now, that's not saying if you don't need help, get help, because I'm a firm believer in it. I have a therapist myself, and I actually saw her yesterday, and we both agree that this is something that, going forward, expect it, demand it, and also don't be afraid, to be a G and just walk away if you're not getting it. And having not received this, I totally understand and get it now, because I've been in this situation twice, especially recently. I think the only time I actually received it from my last person was when another buddy of mine, he suddenly passed while I was actually working for the prison system. And it was really hard, because I worked at the same institution, we were on a unit together, and he just died while I was on leave. And I actually saw him before I went on leave, and he wished me well, and we were expecting to see each other again when I got back from leave. And obviously that didn't happen, and it was very tragic and very devastating, and it crushed me. And I think that's the one time that I actually received support and comfort and consolation from my partner. And after that, that was it. That was legitimately it. And looking back on it, it was really shameful, and I should have had the strength and the power to just say enough was enough, but I didn't. But going forward, I definitely would. And to all, especially the young men out there, have the strength to do the same. If you're not receiving that mental and emotional support from your partner, as hard as it is, as much as it's gonna suck, say what you gotta say, and if nothing changed, just walk away. Just be a G about it, walk away. Because we need to be open, and don't expect less. And we need to start holding our partners accountable to this. We need to start holding the ladies accountable to this, because far too often it erodes relationships. It collapses relationships, like I've said. We need to be able to go to our persons and say, hey, this is what's going on in my mind. This is what I got on my heart. And it's upsetting, or I feel this way, whatever the case may be. But if you do find out that erodes your relationship, then obviously it wasn't for you. But if it doesn't, and she's receptive and whatnot, then by all means, that's who you're supposed to be with. So, I'm gonna wrap up this video here, guys. To all the men out there, if you're struggling, if you're really struggling, I strongly encourage you, go get help. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with speaking to somebody, getting that help. I'd rather see you get help than become one of the 86 men an hour that ends their own life because they lose the battle in their head. And you know, hopefully this June, during this Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, you know, there's more men that have been able to be open about this and come to this conclusion that, hey, I'm not all right, I need help. And with that, demand it from your partners, fellas. And if this is impactful, this is inspirational, this helps you out, please like, subscribe, and share this video, because I can guarantee you there's men out there that need to hear this message, that their mental health, their emotional health, and well-being, it matters. Regardless of what the Matrix says, it matters. Declare it. Let's band together as brothers. Let's make it happen. That's all I got for this video today. EJ out. Become unstoppable.